Hey, good morning everybody, Griff here. Wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you about a bait that I've been throwing a lot lately. And that bait is the Dead Drift 95 from Duo.
Welcome to the Hookup Tackle.
Oh, what a stud.
Yeah. Look at that.
That was sick.
Cheers, my friends. Happy Sunday.
All right, guys, some breaking news.
What's new this week at the Hookup Tackle?
What a beautiful post-spawn fish.
Look at that.
Look at that gut on that. That's a nice fish.
Cool little bait. It's a topwater style bait that's in like a gill crappie shape. Let me pull this out for you. So this one right here has the look of a segmented swim bait right there. Super thin. One cool thing about it is that when it floats, it doesn't just come like this. So your typical swim bait is going to sit in the water like this. It's going to float up. This one's actually going to die. And it's going to just be like a dead limp fish. It's going to float up. It's going to hit the top of the water. You're going to move it. It's going to swim like a swim bait, but as you pause it, it'll just go to the side and it'll just float up like a dead fish right there. All right. So the cool thing about that is that when you got active fish and they're hitting schools of bait, boom, boom, they're hitting them. A lot of them are getting like knocked out, dead, killed, or things like that. And what's happening is they'll just float up or they'll sink. But if you ever seen like a dying fish, it'll float up and then kind of move, then float up and then move. And that's what this thing imitates right there. Super cool. The second action that it has is if you move it quick, it will have like a buzz bait type action. It'll start clacking. It gets this knocking sound, and then that tail just goes across the top of the surface. And you don't have to move it fast for it to do that. You can just do it like a medium pace and then kill it, and then kill it, and then it's gonna do all those things for you right there. All right, the way that I have been fishing it is I'm casting it out, letting it hit the water, make sure that it floats up, and then I'll give it like 2 or 3 cranks of the reel, get it to do that knocking buzz on top of the water, and then I'll kill it. And then I'll kill it. So what's happening is that I've noticed that a lot of my bigger bites are happening almost immediately once it hits the water. It's like cast it out, hits the water, might get into a half a crank, boom, it's getting hit. So I really feel like when they did their research on this bait, the dead fish is like a thing. The Dead Drift 95 comes in a lot of cool colors. Some of them are multicolored. So you have this white crappie, and on the other side is the black crappie. It's just gonna float up however it floats up. It doesn't always go on this side. Super bite size. Let me spec it out for you. 3 3/4 and 28 grams. So that's 1 ounce, right?
Yeah.
28 grams is 1 ounce, yes. Why did they put it in a gram? Oh, it says both. 28 grams or 1 ounce, however you want to say it, that's what it is, all right? It doesn't feel super heavy. It has a little bit of a rattle to it on the inside. It's not super noticeable, but it's enough to get those fish to look up and attract the fish. I've been catching a ton of fish, Callan, a ton of fish. So I went out the other day, you guys will see some of this footage right here, and I just sat on one point. I just made cast after cast after cast. These fish were not schooling, but as soon as it hit the water, I would see wakes. I would move it a little bit, you know, let it sit up there, give it 2 twitches, and just like a dead, like if you've ever seen a dead shad or something like that on the water, it kind of floats up, flickers around, and then floats back up. Just giving it that action, trying to pretend like it's a legit dead fish. The gear that I'm throwing it on, Megabass P5 Dark Sleeper. Right now I have a Metanium DC on there. I have been throwing it with Metanium 70 DC. I feel like this rod is a little bit better at throwing this bait. The bait has a lot of joints and a lot of moving pieces to it, so it will catch wind. So I would definitely recommend a reel that's in like that MGL SV family. Like a full-size utility reel is not really going to get it to go, even though it's an ounce. It's casting like a lightweight bait. The DCs are great for me. The Zillion SV is another reel that I use a lot with stuff like that. So just remember, when you cast it, it's going to catch wind, it's going to bend, and it's going to move a lot. So it's going to create a lot of loose line in your cast. So with that, you're going to get backlashing. So make sure that the gear that you're using works right for it. I like the Dark Sleeper because the action on it. So it's going to bend a little bit deeper than your standard rod. It's not a crankbait rod. It's not a jerkbait rod. It's just like, sits barely under fast. It's going to bend a little bit more than like a jig rod, but it's giving me enough play in the tip of the rod where I can cast it and it's not going to spring back and pull that bait towards me and jack up the cast. All right, so I use that 16-pound fluorocarbon on that. I'm not super stressed about the line floating. I just want a strong line that I can trust, so I'm using the FC Sniper fluorocarbon 16-pound. Cast it out. It's not going to sink. Sometimes when you reel it in, it's going to go subsurface an inch or two, but most of the time it's going to stay on the top of the surface of the water. Bluegill color here. Been using that one a lot. Yeah, if you got like a lot of gill eaters or big shad eaters, like it could imitate a big shad, this is a bait that's going to work for you really, really well. Let me go through some of the colors. That was the gill. You guys saw the crappie. This one is called Mullet SG. So the SG is going to stand for silver and gold. Is a two-tone also. So you're going to have your silver side here, and then your gold metallic pattern on there. So if your fish are eating metallic patterns, that's a good color. That's a good color option for you. We don't do a ton of metallic chromes and super shiny colors out here, but dude, I have a spot where they have been crushing this color specifically. And if your fish are into weird things, there's a clear with some chartreuses and oranges, and then a frosted matted clear. Your typical golden red, very popular color in Japan. A lot of you guys pick these style colors up in jerkbait. I do know, like in the fall, towards the middle end of fall, bass from last year's spawn are getting about that size. Or when these big bass start schooling, they love to eat the little bass, and golds are colors that I like to use when they're doing that. So that gold reflective that you see on that green of the bass, it just imitates it very, very well. Yeah guys, so if you're into a topwater bait, I feel like this can be an almost all season bait. So definitely not a winter time deal, but spring, summer, fall, all the way through till the late fall, this is a great option for you. It's super fun to use. When you think of, like, in my head, I'm always thinking of concepts like why this bait was designed, what it's supposed to do. It's a genius concept to me. All right guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your business. On behalf of everybody here at The Hookup, Ben, myself, Callan, Jeff, everybody here, thank you for everything. I hope you go out there and catch some fish, check out these baits, and enjoy yourself. Thank you so much.